We are honored to have this guest in the studio with us. He's won an Agri Music Award, a Maple Blues Award, and he's now up for his very first JUNO at the tender age, 23 years old. From Ridgeway, Crystal Beach, we have Spencer Mackenzie. Spencer, how does it feel to be nominated for a JUNO for Best Blues Album?
That's a pretty big question because there's so much going on. But I'm very proud to make. I'm from Ridgeway, Fort Erie area, and that's obviously under the Niagara region. So bringing the Niagara region to the JUNOs is like ginormous for me. But being involved in that category with people like Harrison Kennedy,
it's a legend.
Yeah, Harpunus and the Axe Murder, Angelique Francis, Crystal Shawanda. It's like I've played gigs on the circuit with a lot of these names, and I've talked to them. I've never collaborated. I probably should, but I've talked to them like my years coming up, and
Right.
I just feel like instead of they're always an inspiration to me, but now
You're
I feel
on that level playing field.
that's
now
what
them. And they're going to take notice, and those collaborations
exactly
will
the words out of my mouth.
Let's talk about Preach to My Soul. I mean, your third album, you've taken a huge step here. Your voice is stronger, more mature. Your guitar playing is incredible. I know you've just finished your 4-year music program at Mohawk. Did that contribute to that maturity?
Mohawk definitely did contribute to my maturity as a musician. Like I went to Mohawk just to be able to communicate what I am doing on my instrument. 'Cause as you know, I started playing at a really young age. But they really helped me kind of like understand, how to communicate things when I'm doing, how to write it, or how to step outside the box, right? And so when you're talking about an album, Preach to My Soul, I started recording that when I was in first year of Mohawk. Then COVID happened,
Right.
and then we kind of were thankful to do lots of the beds, like the bed tracks with the band on the floor before COVID. Then as far as like the guitar and the singing, I was still going to Mohawk. So it was really nice to kind of have those two contrasts, and I think a bit of it does come out, but I really tried to stay true to my like blues roots.
Talking about collaborations, Steve Strongman on the one track,
Yes.
Paranoia Blues.
Yeah,
You've been collaborating with him live a number of years.
Yeah, that was really big for me because when I was growing up, I listened to Steve religiously, and then my booking agent calls me up and shoots me a couple emails, and I believe that was 2019, like the year before COVID, that he said, "Hey, Steve has this album out, and we're gonna get you playing with him on this gig." One was like the Mont Tremblant Blues Festival. One was at Hughes Room in Toronto. The other one was at a place in Erin called the Bush Home, and just opening up for him. So it made the reality, much like this award, it made it's like I'm becoming a peer of my inspirations.
Yeah,
and they still
definitely
inspire me no matter where I'm at. But it's like I'm becoming on the level playing field. So having him say yes to rip a solo on Paranoia Blues it made my entire day, it made my entire week.
The album opens up with Baptized by Cold Water, and that's a huge punch in the face. It's just a really powerful song. Who's singing backup on that with you?
A lady named Chantel Williams. She did all three, and that was a great day. We brought her in after the fact of recording the beds, and she did 1, 2, and 3 and that's for the whole album, mind you.
When you listen to that album back and compare it to your other two, do you hear the difference? Do you hear the maturity, the progress that you've made as a musician, as a singer?
Definitely.
And as a songwriter.
Yeah, like it's definitely a different feel, this entire album. There are some nods to more traditional blues, but then there's definitely more nods to blues rock. And that's kind of what we wanted to do, with the exception of a few songs, because I don't want to make an album that sounds the exact same the entire way through. But compared to Cold November, it's definitely a different ball game. We took the last track of Cold November, which was Next Door Neighbor Blues, and when we were recording it, we're like, okay, this is the vibe we want for this album. We want that grittier blues, heavier blues, blues rock, kind of stuff. And that song, Next Door Neighbor Blues, it's a Gary Clark Jr. song. And that's kind of where, like, he's an inspiration of mine as well. And that's where we wanted to go with it. And I think we did a pretty good job.
You've got a gig coming up later this month in Burlington.
Yep.
You're obviously booking gigs for the summer. Europe, you're going to play live in Europe for the first time.
Yes, we're very excited. There's a few festivals that we're beginning to announce. I've been telling people that I've been seeing, but we're officially now starting to, the festivals are putting out their lineups, so we're allowed to advertise it. And we're bringing in more dates as it goes, and there's going to be smaller club dates and things like that too to fill the time in between those festivals. But yeah, we're excited to be over there.
Another big gig for you coming up, JUNO Week. So a JUNO Week gig, you're going to be over in Edmonton for the JUNOs?
Yeah, we're going to be over in Edmonton on that weekend of when the JUNOs are happening. And we have a showcase gig, not officially announced yet, but it's in the works. And so it's great to not only be over there and just be with my peers and meet new people, but to show my stuff over there.